Hi, welcome to Milk Crate. I'm Amanda. 1, 2, 3. Hi, welcome to Milk Crate. I'm Amanda, and today we're going to make no-bake cookies, sometimes called preacher cookies. These were a definite favorite in my house when I was a kid because they can be made quickly and served as a refreshment right away. No oven required. Before we get started, don't forget, if you enjoy our content, help us out. Hit the like, the subscribe, don't forget the notification bell, and look out for those links that sometimes will pop up throughout the video. Let's get started. Okay, our no-bake cookies today are going to take some quick oats. These are the ones that usually cook in about a minute. You want to make sure you get the quick oats and not the old-fashioned. Those take a little bit longer and your cookies will kind of come out crunchy. We're going to use white sugar, nothing special, just your granulated sugar, cocoa powder, peanut butter, a little bit of milk, a stick of butter, and vanilla. Now don't worry, I'll go over measurements and I will make sure I leave the recipe in the description, but don't forget to stay tuned so that I can tell you all the secrets about what we'll be cooking next. Alright, so we're going to start with the sugar. And the great thing about this, you mix it in one pot, throw it on the stove, we'll bring it to a nice boil, let all the sugar get good and melted, add the vanilla, stir in the oats, and we'll have cookies to scoop out. And if your house is anything like mine, they don't make it to the end of being scooped before kids come and start stealing cookies. Okay, we're going to start with 2 cups of sugar. Now, I like to do the 2 cups of sugar first and mix the cocoa in so that the cocoa is nice and evenly distributed. So we're going to do 1/3 cup of cocoa. And unlike other baking things, this does not have to be exact. As long as it's roughly 1/3 cup, you're going to be good. Alright, I'm going to give that a stir just to make sure my cocoa kind of gets distributed in my sugar. Okay. Now, I like to make a little bit of a well in the middle, and that's where I put my stick of butter, so that the butter's in contact with the bottom of the pan. That way when everything starts to melt, the butter will be in contact with what is hot. So we're going to move this to the stovetop, and from here, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of milk, and the milk just kind of helps get the sugar melting, so that we can get everything going. Now I put this on a medium heat, and then I'll just keep an eye on it that it doesn't get too hot too fast. And I kind of chop up that butter so that more of it's in contact with the bottom of that pan. And as you see, it starts to kind of get liquid. And then we'll just kind of stir it all together. While that's going, I'll go ahead and add peanut butter. And peanut butter, you're going to add about 3 tablespoons. I'm going to totally cheat because this is getting to the bottom of the jar on this peanut butter. That's about 3 tablespoons. Doesn't have to be exact, we're just looking for that flavor of peanut butter in these cookies. So as that's kind of breaking down, you see it's getting to kind of incorporate that sugar and cocoa. And as the bottom heats and the sugar starts to melt, it'll become more liquid. Now what we're doing here is we're basically turning our sugar crystals into a liquid. This way they help hold the cookie together when we add the quick oats. And quick oats are so thin, they require so little cooking, the hot liquid will cook them plenty for this cookie. So we're just going to cook this down till it becomes a nice ooey gooey liquid. And I will say regular stirring is good to keep it from burning. Sugar is one of those tricky things that if you were to walk away, you would have a burnt, caramelized mess. So keeping an eye on it, stay close, and keep stirring as this is heating up. Okay, I felt like my chocolate was not quite as liquidy as I would like before, so I added an extra tablespoon of milk, which brings it up to about 1/4 cup. See, now we have a better fluid. Now we'll just wait for it to melt my sugar, enough for us to add the vanilla and the quick oats. I just want all that ingredients in there. If you feel like your chocolate is too thick still, you can add tablespoons of milk at a time. I would add only a tablespoon at a time. But what we're looking for is a slightly runnier consistency so that those sugar crystals will go ahead and break down. But you also don't want to heat it too fast and start burning your chocolate. Okay, that's a much better consistency. Now we're going to let that kind of start bubbling and let it bubble for about a minute. And you see it's starting to already bubble, and as you stir, it tends to bubble more. But wait till you see what happens when we put the vanilla in. As soon as that alcohol hits, it's like the whole consistency changes. Alright. We've been bubbling here for a minute or so. We're going to add the vanilla. And we're going to add 2 teaspoons. Give that a good stir. And you'll see. And you'll smell all of it kind of coming together. Okay. The great thing is, from here, you can go ahead and turn off the heat. You don't really need the heat anymore. The chocolate's got plenty of heat in it. And I go ahead and move it off the burner. I can mix right here, and that way my sugar won't continue to cook. We're going to add our quick oats. And this is going to take about 3 cups, but if you find that it's too runny, you may need to sprinkle, you know, 1/2 cup or so at a time. But about 3 cups ought to get us there. And you're going to stir until everything's well coated. Now, that's kind of the look we're going for. These suckers are ready to scoop out. Now that we've got everything all mixed together, it's time to scoop them out. I like to scoop mine out on a Silpat mat. It's just a silicone baking mat. If you don't have this, tin foil, wax paper, parchment paper, you know, kind of whatever you can lay down to scoop these cookies out. Now I have a handy dandy little scoop server. If you don't have this, a teaspoon will work just fine. You can do what is called a double spoon method, where you scoop up your ingredient and then shove it out with another spoon. That'll be fine. But I have my handy dandy little scoop here. And that's basically it. You're going to lay these out, and I promise you, as soon as the kids realize what's cooked, what's done, they're going to come a-running. And there we are. Whatever's left in the pot, that's yours. You did all the hard work, so that should most definitely be your cookie. So, next video will be buttermilk southern biscuits. So please join us for that. And don't forget, if you liked what you saw here today, please let me know in the comments. Tell me what you'd like to see. Maybe next time I can make your suggestion. Thank you.